What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MKE MANIACI, and today we got most shocking last-minute WWE Money in the Bank 2022 rumors that you need to know from Wrestlelamia. Now listen, this Saturday is the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Personally, one of my favorite pay-per-views, of the calendar year besides the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I feel like, WWE can really take this and they could create the next big star if they wanted to in this match. Every year it's always that, the opportunity is always there, but we're going to see what some of these rumors are, and I'm going to get my thoughts on them, man. Let's get it.
For the 2022 edition of Money in the Bank, fans want to know what's what going into the show. Join us as we look at the most shocking last-minute rumors you need to know about this year's Money in the Bank. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. Number 1, a series of unfortunate events. Now, although Money in the Bank hasn't been cursed with injuries like AEW's Forbidden Door event was, the show has had its fair share of problems, including poor ticket sales that forced the WWE to move it from the Allegiant Stadium to the MGM Grand Garden Arena.
That was crazy, because it's like they even had Cody Rhodes in the commercial. They was planning it like it was gonna be like a WrestleMania-esque event, and the ticket sales dwindled, and I feel like that's honestly WWE's fault. Your champion is part-time. We barely see him. There's no megastar right now, and Cody. People could say Cody Rhodes, but there's no real big megastar that everybody that would jam pack a stadium like Allegiant Stadium that's active full time on a roster. And because of that, the ticket sales suffer.
It sales that forced the WWE to move it from the Allegiant Stadium to the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and a number of injuries that sidelined top stars. Now, we've covered the various factors that played a role in this, including what some saw as overpriced tickets, an unknown card, and an overall stale product. Number 2, uncertain times. Perhaps the biggest problems affecting Money in the Bank is uncertainty. Injuries to Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton and Rhea Ripley haven't helped, but consider this. For weeks the WWE have left fans uncertain whether the stipulation for Money in the Bank had changed, as hype videos stated that the winner would get a World Championship match at WrestleMania. Although this might seem like a simple social media department mistake, it led to many fans and news sites asking if the WWE had changed its policy regarding the rules for Money in the Bank. There's also uncertainty surrounding undisputed champion Roman Reigns as.
And if that is the case, I think that's a terrible idea. I think it is going to take away from the Royal Rumble match. I still think it's all about the element of surprise with Money in the Bank. That's how they should keep it. Don't do you can main event WrestleMania at 9 months. Like, don't do that. Like, just keep it the way it is. Keep it the element of surprise. You never know when they're going to cash in. I don't know why they would. I hope that's just just a typo or something.
For Money in the Bank. There's also uncertainty surrounding undisputed champion Roman Reigns, as both he and Brock Lesnar were taken off advertisement for the show. In Reigns' case, it's unknown if the WWE felt it wasn't worth using Reigns for a non-stadium show. As for Lesnar, the WWE brought him back for SummerSlam to replace Randy Orton. Right now, Roman's appearance all seem to revolve around his convenience, which makes for an awkward world title picture. Number 3, coming up short.
And imagine, and that's the thing too, man. Imagine you got this Money in the Bank ladder match, right? Win the briefcase. Where is the champion? How can you ever cash in if the champion's not there? I don't know, man. I do expect though, whoever wins Money in the Bank is going to cash in at SummerSlam. Roman's gonna beat Brock in the last man standing, obviously. And the only way it makes sense to end an over 2-year title run from Roman is to have somebody beat him when he's at his weakest. Cash in Money in the Bank and do it. I think Seth Rollins is going to be the one to do that.
And one thing is certain, Money in the Bank is a lesson in failure, as the WWE president Nick Khan's quest to promote Money in the Bank as an A show akin to WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble came up very short. They wisely moved the show to a traditional arena to avoid the embarrassment of a half-full stadium. Number 4, boiling down to a B show. Looking at Money in the Bank, we can't escape the feeling that the WWE gave up on the event once it knew its ticket sales weren't strong enough for a stadium show. Although Roman Reigns vs Riddle wasn't confirmed for the premium event, it was all but a given until the show moved from Allegiant Stadium. Is the WWE punishing fans for not buying enough tickets to fill a stadium? Well, that's an interesting but unresolved question. As Dave Meltzer observed, the WWE seemed to move the match to SmackDown in order to give Fox something special, as Money in the Bank sold out in smaller venues and the WWE's premium events seem to have a built-in audience on the Peacock streaming service. Money in the Bank should be an entertaining show, but as fans have seen with recent shows like WrestleMania Backlash and Hell in a Cell, they are must-see events as they often feature one or two marquee matches that fans haven't or can't see on television. Number 5. A meaningless match. Although ladder matches are traditionally spectacular, there's no escaping that the Money in the Bank briefcase, especially the men's version, has become a bit of a joke, with curious choices for the winner such as Otis and ineffectively executed cash-ins as babyface Biggie cashing in on an injured heel Bobby Lashley. In Biggie's case, it didn't help that he had an average reign as champion. But regardless of who wins the Money in the Bank, the WWE's insistence on keeping the belt around Roman Reigns' waist makes it difficult for fans to get behind any babyface winner.
And that's why I feel like, honestly, looking at the lineup, I think there's like one spot left as of right now in the Money in the Bank ladder match. But I think Seth Rollins, obviously Cody Rhodes was going to be the one to win it originally. But now that he's out, I think Seth Rollins is going to win it. I could see Rollins going on to SummerSlam to probably defend the briefcase against Riddle and, also win it there and then cash in on Roman, because Seth and Roman got some unfinished business. That's the only way WWE can kind of get out of this hole, because let's say Roman does defeat Brock Lesnar. Who would be the next guy to challenge Roman? Orton's out for the next, almost a year. Who would be a credible threat? Have Seth cash in Money in the Bank, win the championships, let it be that.
The WWE has left the door open for a fantastic cash-in opportunity at SummerSlam, since Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are battling in a last man standing match. This year's winner could cash the briefcase in on a match's winner after both men have beaten each other senseless, or revisit Seth Rollins' historic cash-in.
And it would, like, Brock Lesnar Roman at WrestleMania 31, Seth cashed in. Brock Lesnar Roman, SummerSlam, Seth Rollins cash in. It writes itself.
WrestleMania 31, where he joined Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar's match midway, pinning Reigns to win the World Heavyweight Championship. In fact, a Seth Rollins win would be ideal, as Seth Rollins has been calling Reigns out for over a year and holds the only win over Reigns since Roman's heel turn in 2020. Fans know Rollins would cash in the briefcase in a heartbeat if Reigns and or Lesnar couldn't defend themselves. Now, there is some intrigue surrounding potential winners, including Sami Zayn, whose ongoing efforts to become an official Bloodline member leads to speculation of what he would do if he won the briefcase.
That's a ploy.
There's also Omos, who on paper seems unstoppable, but is the WWE going to put the belt on the Nigerian giant at
Omos he's too green still.
this point in his career and risk having another great Khali on their hands? A babyface win seems meaningless, as most babyfaces cash in their briefcase with advance warning. That being with exceptions such as CM Punk and Big E, and Reigns seems untouchable right now. There's a bit of drama with both Drew McIntyre and Riddle looking to earn a spot against Reigns, but giving either man the win seems pointless.
Riddle already lost, so it wouldn't make sense for him to win the briefcase. I mean, it kind of would, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to see Riddle with it. Drew McIntyre doesn't need it, although I could see WWE probably putting the briefcase on Drew for him to announce that he's cashing in at the the show overseas in September.
Number 6, A Ray of Hope. But while the Money in the Bank stumbled at the box office, at least in terms of being an arena show, the women's ladder match shows just how strong the women's division is on paper and how there's room to create a strong program for either Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship.
Definitely.
The women's division is arguably the most competitive division in the WWE, with solid challengers to Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, including Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch and Asuka, and a number of up-and-comers who could threaten SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey with the unpredictability of a Money in the Bank briefcase behind them. Throw in a potential returns like Bayley and Charlotte Flair, as well as remembering that the briefcase holder can cash in their contract on either Raw or SmackDown champion, and there are several excellent matches on paper and opportunities to elevate young talent, including Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi.
Yeah.
Let's just hope Liv Morgan does win, unless the WWE finally puts the belt on her. Number 7.
I'm pulling for Liv to win in that. I think she definitely deserves it. I think she's been going crazy, working extremely hard. I feel like she definitely deserves that briefcase. Although I wouldn't be against them putting it on somebody like Shotzi and creating, you know, the next big star for the women's division.
Let's just hope Liv Morgan does win
I
unless
think
the
Liv could also
WWE
be the
finally
next.
puts the belt on her. Number 7, Righteous returns. Now, as always, the WWE Universe wants to know what surprise returns to expect for. There are still several slots open in the men and women's ladder matches, which leaves room for a surprise return. Right now, the biggest name going around is Bayley, who's reportedly been ready to return since at least WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair could return at Money in the Bank, interfering in Ronda Rousey's title defense against Natalya as she seeks revenge on Rowdy Ronda for kayfabe breaking her arm at WrestleMania Backlash.
Please don't. Please don't. I think where Charlotte fits in the best, give her, I mean, I know they like to keep her in the championship picture. Put her in a, you know, that women's tag team championship tournament that they just, you know, happen to forget about. Or maybe pair her with Lacey Evans or pair her with, you know, with somebody else. You know, I know Charlotte's more of a loner, but it'll be something refreshing for her career.
Number 8, setting up SummerSlam. I don't be surprised if the WWE uses Money in the Bank to set up one or more matches at SummerSlam, chief among them John Cena vs. Theory.
Father and son.
With Bobby Lashley challenging Theory for the United States Championship at Money in the Bank, the WWE has various options to set up Cena vs. Theory at the biggest party of the summer. This includes Cena confronting Theory after a tainted win over Lashley, or even Cena costing Theory the US Championship.
I honestly feel like that segment on Raw backstage was kind of weird. I think WWE doesn't really know if Cena's going to be available for SummerSlam, so they kind of playing it safe. Because if they knew for a fact that Cena was available for SummerSlam, honestly, obviously Cena and Theory is going to happen. And I feel like they would have had Theory kind of come out during his, you know, Cena's promo to kind of make it more personal of a lead up. I think they don't know, you know, how Cena's schedule is going to look come, you know, SummerSlam season, which is about a month away. You know, so I think they kind of played it safe on Raw.
Another wild card is Rhea Ripley, who is reportedly out with a head injury, but is expected back soon. Ripley, who was originally scheduled to challenge Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank, could show up and confront or attack, depending on a medical clearance, Bianca Belair during a title defense against Carmella. Another return that should be happening is that of Edge. Edge has plenty of reason to want to get revenge on his former minions in the Judgment Day, but Damian Priest, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley have been as rare as a blue steak, leading to serious questions about the group's viability. The WWE will have a prime opportunity to have Edge return if any of the Judgment Day's members make it onto Money in the Bank, even if they show up for just a promo. Another possibility might seem far-fetched is to have the Viking Raiders interfere in the Street Profits vs Usos tag team match. With the Raiders apparently having turned heel last week and are possibly starting a feud with the New Day, it might seem odd to see Eric and Ivar interfering in the tag match. Nonetheless, the Viking Raiders may seek revenge on the Usos or interfere in the match to make a statement.
I don't think Viking Raiders are going to interfere just yet. I think, you know, I ain't going to say they've been repackaged, but I think they kind of got a little bit of a new swagger. So they're going to be dominant for a little bit, and then, yeah, they will come after the tag titles eventually. But I say give them about a couple of months, and yeah, we might see it.
This could lead to a fatal four-way between the New Day, the Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, and the Usos
for
at
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Okay, never mind.
And finally,
that sounds
more
good.
matches. With 6 matches, including 2 ladder matches, there's no reason to think the WWE needs to add any more matches to Money in the Bank, particularly since there are so many wrestlers tied up in the men's and women's ladder matches. As we've seen over the last year, the WWE seems content with 6 or 7 matches on its B shows. But there you have it, folks, the most shocking last-minute rumors regarding Money in the Bank.
Alright. I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to Money in the Bank. You know, every pay-per-view I always look forward to, you know, because I kind of have that hope that they might turn it around and hit us with a surprise element, you know, SummerSlam coming up. And I know they don't want to repeat of ticket sales for, you know, one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year besides WrestleMania. So they gotta hit us with some type of surprise at Money in the Bank, or at least in these next couple of weeks, man. But link down below in the description for y'all to check this out in its entirety with no interruptions. Shout out Wrestlelamia. If y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me, want reaction videos, WWE videos, hit that subscribe button for me. And until the next video, I'll see y'all then. Thank you for watching MKE MANIACI. I'm out.